Hi, welcome back to another installment of our conversations around college admissions. If you have been following along and watched our most recent production, we were talking about what is called the enrollment cliff and the idea that whether it's true or false, it all depends on where you live, whether or not there is going to be a decrease in the college going population in your particular state. So we talked a lot about the myths around that and where that might actually be true and have an impact and where it might not. And because that often leaves people with questions about, well, what does this mean? And if it's not going to get any easier for us to get in, or for my child to get into college, what are we supposed to do? So one of the things we always talk about when we work with families is having an open mind and keeping your options open relative to building the college list. And so today I'm joined by my colleague Claudia Malchok, who is going to talk to you about just that and how you can expand those options and really look at a wide variety of schools in this process. So Claudia, take it away.
Thanks, Kim. I am excited to be here today and to talk about one of my favorite subjects in college guidance, which I affectionately call hidden gems. I like to, I reference the college search as a treasure hunt oftentimes. And I mean that in the sense of not only looking for schools, but also finding out a lot more about yourself. So it's an exploration, a self-exploration, and a treasure hunt of looking at all these possible schools from coast to coast. Talking about hidden gems would not be complete. I think the starting point is to talk about a select group of schools, 44 schools specifically across the United States, known as the colleges that change lives. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about CTCL schools, as they're affectionately known, but I am super excited to share that this year, the class of 2025 got two students who are graduating, who have graduated, who are going to CTCL schools. I have a young woman who is a graduate of Myers Park in Charlotte, who will be heading down south to St. Petersburg, Florida, to go to Eckerd College. And Eckerd is an incredible place. It sits right on the water. It has over 180 some acres of bayfront property. I think it's got over a mile of shoreline that the students are, they are in their dorms and they're looking out over the water. It's incredibly beautiful. They've got a really wonderful waterfront program where students can check out paddleboards, kayaks, sailboats, fishing gear. I mean, it is a beach goer's paradise, so to speak. Another really cool thing about Eckerd is it is a pet-friendly campus, and that's not something that you hear often or that you may even know exists. I think on average, about 300 pets live on campus with their owners in the dorms. And those pets range from the more common dogs and cats to reptiles, guinea pigs, chinchillas, ferrets, and of course there's your basic fish. So if your student is already anxious about leaving their pet, Eckerd might be a good place to consider. But it's not just fun and games at Eckerd. It is one of only 10% of colleges throughout the country that has a Phi Beta Kappa chapter on campus. And if you're not aware, Phi Beta Kappa is the nation's oldest and best known society for recognition of excellence throughout scholarly pursuits. It's been around since 1776, actually. So Eckerd has a lot going on for it. Another big key point of Eckerd is that 70% of its students study abroad. So it's something that the campus prides itself on, getting its students off campus throughout global experience and educating themselves in many different countries. All right. I have another senior who is going to another CTCL school, and he had to choose between two CTCL schools, Puget Sound, University of Puget Sound, which is out in Tacoma, Washington, and Hendrix College, which is in Conway, Arkansas, and is also the alma mater of our founder, Kim Stodghill. So let's talk about Puget Sound first. That's the school that this young man actually chose to attend. Puget Sound is a great size of small liberal arts colleges with about 1,700 students. One of the interesting tidbits is it has a really well-respected college radio station. And for those of you that are fans of public radio, you should tune in to, let me get the call letters right, KUPS, The Sound, 90.1 Tacoma. They have been broadcasting for over 50 years, 24/7, and it's a completely student-run organization. And for those of you that wonder, is college radio even still a thing? Yes, 100% it is. And to confirm that, I thought this was a really cool tidbit. The total listener minutes have jumped over 420% over the last 2 years for University of Puget Sound's college radio station. So tune in and continue to support public radio. Puget Sound is an amazing area. It's beautiful, very robust outdoor programs, as you can assume, given the location. Students enjoy backpacking, hiking, cross-country skiing, snowshoeing, surfing. Pacific Northwest is an amazing place to go to school. So that's where my senior is headed to. The other choice was Hendrix College in Conway, Arkansas. And Conway is located just about 25 miles north of Little Rock. So it's adjacent to the state capital. Little Rock is Arkansas's capital and home of the Bill Clinton Library. Hendrix really prides itself on being remarkably open and welcoming. It's a very egalitarian learning community where differences of opinion are encouraged. Respect for all humans is also a paramount part of their institution. But what Hendrix is really known for is something called the Odyssey program. And what the Odyssey program is, it guarantees that every single Hendrix graduate will have on-hands learning opportunities, and they actually graduate with a designation on their degree in one of the following areas. And I want to read these to make sure I get them correct. So you have specific recognition and in-depth study in artistic creativity, global awareness, professional and leadership development, service to the world, undergraduate research, and the all-encompassing special programs. So Hendrix, the students that graduate from Hendrix are movers and shakers. They are people that have learned how to think outside the box, if you will. Their critical reasoning skills are unmeasured. They have an extremely ambitious undergraduate research program, and no other school of its size sends more students to the National Conference on Undergraduate Research. So if research and a very community-minded, welcoming environment is something that your students looking for, Hendrix could be a really good choice. So let me tell you a little bit more about CTCL specifically. I would strongly encourage you to go to their website, which is ctcl.org. But what it is, it's a consortium of 44 liberal arts colleges, like I said, across the country, that were established by a gentleman named Loren Pope, who wrote a book that was published in 1996 identifying small liberal arts colleges that might not have the name recognition of some of the other better, well-known, more loftier institutions, but they were focused on the student experiences and really making the whole mission of the school student-centric. Pope and his colleagues identified initially 40 of these schools throughout the country that have been transformative in changing education and transforming the lives of hundreds of thousands of their graduates. Just to give you an idea, like I said, currently there's 44 CTCL schools. I'm going to run down and hit you some of the highlights, but really do check out the website. Agnes Scott is an all-women's college in Decatur, outside of Atlanta, Georgia. Bard College is a small liberal arts college in Annandale-on-the-Hudson in New York. Center College, love Center. It's in Danville, Kentucky. Denison is another favorite in Granville, which is located just outside of Columbus, Ohio, the state capital. So again, a small town environment, but easy access to a larger community. One of the newest schools to join CTCL is DePauw, which is in Greencastle, Indiana. Let's see, God, there's so many great ones. Let's see. Lawrence University is in Wisconsin, Appleton, Wisconsin, McDaniel in Westminster, Maryland, Millsaps, another Southern school in Jackson, Mississippi. Again, reference the list by yourself. And when I was putting this talk together, I was curious how many of the CTC schools I've currently visited, and I am almost at half. I've hit 20 of the 44 schools. And I'm excited that I'm going to be adding a few more in my travels in the next couple months. So stay tuned for more information about some of those schools. So one of the things that I think I'd like to kind of say in summation is there are so many schools, thousands of schools in the country, and a lot of them are really little known gems. So many people know about schools in their region. So there's a lot of regional name recognition. But when you move from different parts of the country, a school that seems like everybody hears about it in your hometown may not have the same level of name recognition when you get to the other coast. CTCL is a great place to start to learn about these different types of schools, but really learn about different schools, partner with us, and maybe your student will have not one, but two opportunities at a little known school. I just think that's part of the best part of this job is even when I'm traveling and driving, I'm always searching for a school to visit, to drive around campus, learn a little bit more about it, and encourage you to do so. Broaden your reach, and you might be really excited to learn that there are some great opportunities.
Thanks, Claudia. That's really good information. And as she has mentioned, there are so many choices out there. And if we can be of any help with you and your family developing a well thought out list of schools that might also come with a high level of scholarship dollars. That is one of the things most CTCL schools are actually known for, is that they give very generous merit scholarship awards. So if that's something that sounds interesting and we can help with that, please reach out and we would love to talk to you about it even more.